So one of the things you guys always like to know is who is actually on the other side here. My name is Peter Aiken. I've been doing this stuff for a long, long time. Main thing is that I'm really, really old. This is a picture of my first computer that I ever got. I'm trying to think what year that would have been. Probably the 1970s in the middle there. You could buy a piece of plastic that would add, subtract, and multiply. So for $5, there was my first computer. This picture here is me and my Uncle Rob, who recently retired from NASA. He's 84 as a software engineer down at NASA. By the way, does anybody know why NASA can't get back to the moon? The answer is because they didn't do the documentation. It all walked out of NASA when my Uncle Rob left. So this is the two of us talking through some Fortran calculations, because that's the sort of paper that we used to use back in those days. The paper was produced by these things called computer cards, and boy, they are fun. You would carry around a deck of these computer cards all around, and if you dropped them, poof. Now each card had a single line of code on each of these cards. Kids look at this these days and go, no wonder you guys were so dumb back in those days, because it just was not a very good way of interacting with computers. I've been in this field for a long time, many, many decades. I left VCU. I did my undergraduate and master's here at VCU. I left VCU in 85. Left VCU in 85 and went up and worked at the Pentagon for about 10 years. Ended up back here through no particular reason, but certainly love VCU and been a fan for all along, so now I'm here permanently. In 1999, VCU started up a company with me. So we jointly own a company called Data Blueprint. We've been in business as long as Google has. Google's done a little bit better than us, but still we've done some very, very good work, and you'll hear some stories about that as well. So a very long association with VCU, and obviously we are tightly bound at the hip at this point. I've also been working with something called DAMA International. It's the Data Management Professionals Organization. I've also written 10 different books. Some of them might be interesting to you. What I've done as far as my research, I go in and look at how organizations do data. And the answer is pretty poorly worldwide. So I'm a big advocate for both data leadership as well as data literacy in these areas. Unlike some professors too, VCU has been very kind and let me go live with different organizations for a long time. So I spent 3 years with Walmart in Bentonville, had an apartment out there, worked with Deutsche Bank in Germany, Nokia in Finland. Just, again, all sorts of different adventures, which kind of grounds me, I think, a little more perhaps. I also run the longest-running webinar series that's been out there, and you guys will all get a chance to sign up for those. It's just additional stuff. If you have trouble sleeping at night, it's a really good way to get to sleep. So a little bit of perspective. I got my doctorate in information technology from George Mason in 1989. Information technology, again, very vague definition. It's the discipline that encompasses the design, development, and application of hardware and software systems to facilitate human endeavors. Sounds like what we're kind of trying to do in this class here. Got my BS in 1981, MS in 85. Again, 2 focuses in information systems there. My final degree was in engineering, and we'll talk about that because engineering is not a concept that most business people are familiar with, and you'll see that that's kind of important. Very easy to get a hold of me. Here's my mobile, 382-5957, area code 804. I text and I travel a ton. So it's unlikely that I'm going to be sitting in my office waiting for a phone call, which is why I want you to call me on my mobile. Again, I do text, so feel free to do that. People I don't want to bother you. You know what I'm usually doing? Sitting in an airport, waiting for a stupid airplane to take off. So if you call me, it's actually a really fun conversation because it'll give me something to do. I live in Montpelier, Virginia. Some of you know where that is. It's up at the top of 295. You go about 6 miles north from that, and you get into this really beautiful part of the state. And there's good and bad that lives with that. So if we travel all the way out 64 and then get off at the Rockville exit and go up the road a little bit, that's how you get to my place. The reason that's important is because if it snows, we may have some problems. I know we're supposed to be online here. In Montpelier, I get 6 megabits of DSL. So that means I might be able to get video going on the internet. If it snows, I may be there, I may not. So text me, find out whether we're actually meeting virtually in class or not on that particular day if it's snowing. A little bit more about me. I'm what's called a horse husband. Anybody know what a horse husband is? Well, there's a great t-shirt out there. It looks like it says, "My wife loves riding horses." However, if you look at the fine print down there, it says, "Loves me almost as much as she loves riding horses." My husband asked me to pick either him or horseback riding, so I sure do miss him. And then the last one I get to wear, I never dreamed I'd end up marrying a super sexy horse lady, but here I am living the dream. So there's a picture of my horse. He's been a good friend for well over 14 years. Again, I've been riding horses for a while, so you can see there's a picture of me back in the old days. Just a quick thing on this. Most horses, when they see a gigantic creature like the one that I'm showing in the picture here, the horses turn around and run like crazy. My guy comes up to it and says, "Hello, can I be your friend?" And people look at this when they go, "Oh my God, you've got a picture of a dead horse in your thing?" No, he's not dead. He's just sleeping. Now, horses do sleep a little bit, and one of the things that's really fun is that Capital One will let you put anything on your charge cards. So there's a Capital One charge card with a dead horse on it, and what I use that for is by meeting other horse people. When I use that around Montpelier, people go, "Oh, you have a, let's see, that's a Tennessee Walker, isn't it? Okay, yeah. Looks like he's got a little extra weight on him." Well, he's 26 years old, so it's okay. He can have a little extra weight on him as far as that goes. I'm also a bass player, and I don't know if you know much about bass players, but I'll play a little Simpsons clip here for that.
Midlife crisis at 12 o'clock. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me guess, dude. You're an Axeman. You're looking to score a new blade. So what's your poison, bro? Les Paul, straight up Gibson? No. Classic Strat, am I right?
Oh, I don't have what it takes to play guitar. I mean, I'm no Joe Walsh in the brains department.
Who is? Look, you don't have the weak, womanly fingers of a guitar princess. You, my friend, have the muscular stumps of a bassman. Try this on.
What the rock?
Now that was a lick.
I did a lick?
Keep 'em coming. Yes, now bob your head. Bob it, bob it, bob it. Dude, usually it takes years to learn such neck confidence. Now check this out.
Oh my God, I'm amazing.
Dude, you're already one of the greatest bass players of all time.
There are a couple bassist jokes that are really funny. How do you get a bass player off your front porch? Pay him for the pizza. Why do you call a bass player without a girlfriend? The answer's homeless. The difference between a bass player and an onion. Nobody cries when you chop up a bass. And finally, what are the 3 most difficult years in a bass player's life? And the answer is 2nd grade. Again, I've been doing that part of things for an awful long time. Here I was. This was actually when I was at VCU as an undergraduate, and I had 3 hands for some reason around that. Played in a band some of you may have heard of called Dog's New Clothes. We were the absolute biggest children's band in the area. A lot of fun with that. And do a lot of music. In fact, the band is playing locally here, so you might get a chance to see us around. And if you look hard enough on iTunes, you'll find some music that's out there. So when you have to look around and say, sort of what is Peter, again, spend an awful lot of time working here at VCU, but also helping an awful lot of other companies do really interesting things with data and play a little music, ride some horses at the same time.